Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video, well, this isn't a video I really thought I'd have to make on the channel, or one it's just never crossed my mind would ever happen. But I have no other choice. I'm here to ask for your help with something that is super important to me. Now, those of you who have been following me on the channel for years now are going to know some of what I have to tell you, and those of you who are newer, I'm going to give you a crash course anyway. So back in March of 2018, I lost my father very suddenly to a heart attack. I got a call. He was in the hospital. I flew out, and that night he was gone. It all happened super quick, and since then my family's been dealing with the repercussions of that. I mean, he was the main provider of my home back in New Jersey, and he was just gone all of a sudden. But nobody felt that more than my mother, who, on top of having lost her husband and being stuck with all the responsibility of a home, disabled. I mean, she's got metal rods in her body. She can barely walk, and she had to have surgery to keep her out of a wheelchair for the rest of her life. But that didn't exactly make it easier for her to get around of any capacity. Top of other medical issues that have propped up, she's in no position to earn an income, essentially. And so she's just had to deal with this however she saw fit for the last several years. Now, at first, it was largely inheritance that was paying for it. My father, in his will, had indeed passed on some money to myself, my sibling, and my mother. I gave mine to my mother. I knew she was going to need it more than I was going to. And that was okay for a little bit. Bills were paid on time. Everything was taken care of. But I think we all knew in the family that that was never going to last forever, and that we were going to just need to go through the basic things: government plans, disability, food stamps, all that stuff, just to make sure that, you know, costs weren't being incurred when they didn't need to, or they could be brought down, and then we could come up with another plan at some point. Now, all that was in motion until the world flipped upside down 2 years ago, and it seemed like every crack imaginable opened up and swallowed my mother whole. I swear, the things I could tell you but probably shouldn't that has happened to her when it comes to trying to get basic government assistance is disgusting. And I feels like every day for years now, I've just carried that in my head, like maybe today will be the day. And it just never is. They just never do the job that they're supposed to do. And at this point, can't afford to wait for them anymore. Now, my mother does have some basic things. Again, I won't go too much into detail about these exactly what she's receiving, but disability, which is not that much a month. Anyone who's been on disability knows that that's not exactly a living wage that they can give somebody. But of course, she does have either Medicaid or Medicare, one of the two. I can never tell the difference. And she does have some, I think a program that reduces the cost of utilities every month as long as she keeps up with paying the utilities. But other than that, all of the other things that she's applied for and tried to get, still falling through the cracks. And there's, again, I probably shouldn't get too much into it. I don't know if there's like legal ramifications for stuff like that. But essentially, at this point, she's trying to hold out till 62 for what in America are called widow's benefits. I don't know the exact benefits that come with that, but she assures me that that would be of great assistance to her if she could hold out in her current situation until then. Now, in the process of waiting for all of these things, I have been paying for a lot of things for my home back in New Jersey. Now, some of those things are basic living amenities. Some of those things are more important to actually keeping the house, and some of them are maintenance of the house, like fixing the plumbing or things of that capacity. Not things I'm asking for in this. I'm just giving you a wider scope of what has been going on with me. And for a while, I was kind of okay helping a little bit. It started off with just a little bit here or there, but then, you know, as time went on, things just kept happening, and it just kept wearing me down. I did get a windfall that helped a lot back in the summer of 2021. Those of you who play 14 might remember a Fat Black Chocobo event, essentially amount that you could earn from gifting 4 subs to a Twitch broadcaster, a qualifying Twitch broadcaster. And that brought in more money in a month than I had ever seen in one number in my life. I just couldn't believe. To think that some people earn that on the monthly blows my mind. That would change so many lives if that were possible. But it was a one-time windfall, and it helped. You know, I was able to take care of a lot more things for her. But I knew what was eventually going to happen the moment that that day came, the moment that that event began. I knew the following year Uncle Sam was going to come for his cut. And tax season has come and passed, and I have indeed, of course, paid my dues. And it's at a point where I can't continue to assist to the level that I have been assisting my mother back home in New Jersey. It's not feasible for me to maintain my life that I have with my family and also be as responsible as I have been to my mother back in New Jersey. So because of that, I demanded that she start a fundraiser, because realistically the alternative options were not great for her physically or mentally, and just not good for anyone. So that's what this video is for. It's a fundraiser to get my mother to her 62nd birthday so she can get her widow's benefits, and then I'll be developing a plan with her after the fact. So the fundraiser on GoFundMe, linked in the description, asks for a pretty hefty amount. Now, that amount is not the amount that has to be reached in order to achieve what I have set as the goal, which is to make it to the 62nd birthday. What it is, however, is a number that would basically ensure better long-term financial stability. And so I said, you know what, just go for this bigger number, because if you were to be able to reach that, the amount that would assist you would just be incredible. But I'm going to explain to you now what that money exactly is going towards. Even though it probably says it in the thing, I'm actually recording this before she's done setting up the page, because it was just, something that eats at your brain and you just can't get it out of your head and you just have to do it. I had that with this. So let's go over what the fundraiser itself is actually for. So first and foremost, basic living necessities, food and utilities. Utilities, water, electricity, air. I'd also consider internet and phone in this day and age kind of necessities. The fact that they're not labeled as such kind of blows my mind. But, obviously if I couldn't communicate with her, that would be, well, not good, to say the least. So food, it costs not that high. My mother is not a big eater. She likes food, but she never has eaten a whole lot of it. She gets by on very, very little. So the cost of that, not anything too crazy. Utilities, I think she's in a program that reduces the cost as long as she keeps up. I'm almost positive of that. But that's probably another $150 for the basic utilities that are there. And then for something like internet and phone, she is like the most basic of plans for both of those. That's probably another $150. So realistically, between all of those, it's probably $400 a month from April to December. And that's something that, I don't have an issue helping with either all that much. Those are really low costs comparatively to some of the other things that just kind of compound, that I think are probably better covered on this. But, those two things will come first. The next couple of things include stuff that are more specific to her, ways that can improve her living or ensure that she continues to live comfortably while she waits for this fated birthday. Pain management is a big one because of all the surgery she's had and the medical issues. She is in a pain management course. Now, that course costs about $150 a month, and they do not accept Medicaid, Medicare, or whatever. So as such, I've been paying for her to go to that. And if she loses her spot in that by canceling an appointment and not making it, they'll replace her in like a day or two. So if she doesn't keep up with that, then she essentially has to go, 6 months or more, maybe, before she can get back into that. And she will essentially just suffer the entire time. Not good. The other thing is basic house amenities. So one way my mother's been trying to generate some money is she's been selling her belongings, whatever she can find in the attics and the sheds, or whatever's around our house that's in a decent enough shape for somebody to buy and use. She's been selling them. And so the only thing that this would really cover are the cost of the ability to ship said things. So this cost actually probably raises the amount of money that can be earned. Because I've paid for these things before, so like can I $10 to get something for me to ship this, for example, and then it makes $50-$60 or something. So this one is probably not the most important thing on the list, far from the most important thing on the list, but it is one that probably has the most value to put some towards. But this is going to be like below everything else, even the things I haven't mentioned yet, because there are just other more important things that are on the list. Now, those 4 things alone, if it were only those things, the goal on the page would be a lot lower, because she, like I said, she can get by with, barely anything when it comes to most of this stuff. But the last 2 are things that I told her she should put on the list, because if she were to actually reach the total goal on the page, then it would ensure a longer term financial stability. Even if I were to continue to have to help, it would just eliminate so many issues that, it would be a big help. Now, these last 2 are also the most unfeasible things to reach. I don't think we're going to hit, I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to hit the total that's on there. But I mean, if you don't put it on there, why bother? Why cover the first 4 if the last 2 are going to bring you crashing down at some point, right? So the last 2 are mortgage and property taxes. Now, because she's living in a home, and the home was not fully paid off for before my father passed, and it was not reasonable to fully pay it off in the time that followed, that's just a cost sitting there that, when not paid in full, just kind of continues to build up and become a bigger problem. So that's on there for a big reason. And property taxes, being a homeowner, that's an obvious one. And while I believe also when she hits 62, she can get cost reductions on her property taxes as well. I think she has to hit 62 for that. It's still going to be a payment, something that needs to be dealt with. So that's those are the reasons why the number is so big. So those 2 particular things, because if it could hit that, and those things were taken care of, then the amount of relief would be astronomical. Now, I record this again knowing full well that what I'm asking is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing for anybody. So many people are suffering right now that this is, in a lot of ways, a really selfish thing to try to do. I had to turn down charities in recent years, including a very recent one I had to turn down, just because I had to focus solely on my income so that I could support both home and home away from home. So it's just, I get it, I really do. But I think we also all recognize the idea of wanting to do something for the ones we love. And that's where this is coming from entirely. So I don't know what's gonna come of this. I'll be sure to post an update, because I'm sure people will want to know exactly what has happened or what has been covered or anything of that capacity. But I also understand that for a lot of people, they wouldn't be comfortable, I guess, contributing towards something like this. So let me go through a few things here, because I'm getting a little scatterbrained while I'm trying to record this and keep my calm. First and foremost, if you can donate to the GoFundMe, it would be heavily appreciated. I don't have any sort of promises or stretch goals or anything too crazy to offer. I know as a content creator, people think, oh, eat like a really hot chip, or, put on makeup or do something. At this point, all I'm thinking about is her. And so I don't want to make any promises, because if I'm really not comfortable, if I'm really stressed, then making those promises would be unrealistic. It's happened to me in the past, even recently as such, several months ago. So I don't know, maybe if I reach a certain thing, I'll like chug a bottle of hot ones, last dab. At least it tastes good. I don't want to chug one of the other hot sauces. I'm doing the chip. I tried the chip. That was a mistake. I took one bite. That was the worst idea I've ever had in my life. And I don't know, maybe I'd come up with some other embarrassing things to do to try and encourage this as it's ongoing. But I mean, that's at the very least, I'm just kind of hoping that, some people have like $1 to spare or $5 to spare or something. Now, if you don't have any money to spare, if you enjoy my content, you're from another country, or whatever the reason is that you don't want to or can't contribute to said fundraiser, just enjoy my content. Just continue to watch the free content that's posted on YouTube, hang out in the Twitch stream. Everything helps. I mean, what you've already been doing, just enjoying my content, has already been paying for these things that I'm putting on this fundraiser anyway. It just doesn't, I just can't afford to do both. So just continuing to watch the videos you do want to watch and like the videos you do like, and you know, the whole YouTube spiel, then that's good enough for me. Now, the last thing is a bit of a reach, something that I just want to put out into the universe, but I doubt it actually amounts to anything. Sponsorships. I've been taking a lot more sponsorships in the last couple of years. I've no doubt you've noticed. I haven't even taken close to all of them because sometimes I'm just so stressed. I just can't be responsible, and I don't want to, start something that I can't finish. But if there's any company that somehow sees this, anyone who works at a company that provides something that I've listed here, a food company, water, I don't know, charging amenities for electronics, or, it's just, I don't know. I'm putting it out in the universe that if there were a company that could provide basic things like this, as long as it was still pertinent to me, like it was a product I would still use and support, I would do the sponsorship for free, as long as it meant that basics could be provided to my mother. I don't want anything. I don't want a dime. I just want basic things delivered to her. So somehow, if this reaches anyone that can cover any of those things, new phone would help. Her phone is a piece of trash right now. Just let me know. I'll work something out. I'll put that out there into the universe. And I'll be trying to take more sponsors as I can. And you'll continue to see that from me, because those provide little boosts that really help me get through times that are tougher with her. So if you support any sponsors, the sponsor I've had for years now, SteelSeries, most of my SteelSeries money has gone towards my mother at this point. So thank you to them for being my sponsor for all these years. And if any others that pop up on my channel, if you support those, that will be going towards this as well. And it always has. So now you know where the sponsor money's been going when I do sponsorships. So thank you for that. And I guess with that, I've covered everything. I don't know what'll happen, but I feel better knowing I tried, and hopefully my mother will feel better knowing that we tried. If it just... Anyway, thanks for watching. I am also leaving monetization on for this video, just because same reason this video would be essentially paying towards the same thing, except that all of the money from this video will go towards her, this specific one. Fortunately, we can track those kind of things. So anyway, thanks for taking your time out of your day, out of your busy days, out of your schedules to listen to me. And yeah, I guess I'm done. So thanks, and I'll keep you updated. Take care.